came all this way just for your revenge, huh? Will you enjoy it, class? 'Cause there ain't nothing gonna bring your boy back.
The Revenant, directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, was technically released in December of 2015 with a wide release in January of 2016. It starred Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy. It was loosely inspired by the true story of Hugh Glass, who in the 1800s sustained a life-threatening injury from a bear attack and survived a long trek journey across the wilderness after being left for dead. In the film, it takes this as a structure and adds its own liberties to the true tale from a story of not only survival but also a story of revenge. But not just revenge, but the sheer will and determination of the human spirit. Now, as soon as I saw the teaser trailer for this, I was ultimately hooked. The tone, the premise, the atmosphere, it looked to have every ingredient of a sprawling cinematic epic. And now, I'm a sucker for survival stories, especially in film, and especially if they take place in a certain time period. A film that comes to mind is from 1999 called Ravenous, which has a similar tone and themes. The Revenant was my most anticipated film of 2015, even though I had to wait to see it at the beginning of 2016. Now, I absolutely loved Iñárritu's previous film Birdman, and I had seen his disturbing debut film Amores Perros, a film that scarred me for life. So naturally, I went into this with very high hopes and expectations and was rewarded every step of the way. I love everything about this film. The performances, the cinematography, the atmosphere, the sound design, the score, everything looks otherworldly. The images and movement feels like a sprawling painting coming to life, illustrating the nature of the film as a worthy antagonist just as much as Tom Hardy's character Fitzgerald. Although the story is vast, it is a very simple story told visually well. One man's journey towards revenge throttled by the cruelty of nature and wilderness. The scope is epic. You feel every inch of pain inflicted upon Glass as he goes through wretched turmoil throughout the film. And a much-deserved Oscar-winning performance from DiCaprio, as well as a love-to-hate performance of Hardy's character, Fitzgerald. The presentation of the tone and atmosphere isn't without the standout scenes and sequences throughout the film. There are so many that come to my mind, but one that I'd like to shout out is the opening sequence when the group is attacked and the continuous shot that highlights the brutality and violence through this time period. As the men try to protect their pelts, they are borderline decimated, showing the carnage and chaos of this world that we are jumping into. It presents the cruelty so vividly and harshly through a bloodbath of panic. It's one of my favorite openings in all of cinema. Other scenes I feel that are very underrated around discussions on this film are the interactions between Fitzgerald and Bridger. After Bridger discovers there is no threat for leaving Glass for dead, he attempts to fight and murder Fitzgerald, and the preceding scenes with them as Fitzgerald tries to manipulate Bridger into believing what they did was right is so cruel and dark that it truly eats up Bridger inside.
Well, we followed orders. We just skipped the funeral part. Don't go down there. Start growing no kind of conscience, all right? Because sure as night will come, they'll have us both swinging from a couple rooms. Now, we did what we had to do.
And how could I not mention the bear attack scene? It is so artfully and technically well done with some of the best acting DiCaprio has ever done. It is the epitome of the man versus nature theme that is presented throughout so well in The Revenant. A lot of critiques and criticisms when The Revenant was released focused on that the film was too wrapped up in a story about revenge from the source material, and I do not entirely agree with that. Yes, there are elements of revenge throughout Glass's journey to hunt down Fitzgerald for killing his son, and yes, in the original story, tale, or whatever, Glass did not have a son. But the film explores the pain of grief and loss and connection we have with the memory of life and how fleeting it can be to lose someone so close to you. Revenge motivates Glass's loss and the will and determination to survive through unimaginable odds and obstacles. In their final fight, as brutal and animalistic it gets, it hones in on that revenge and how it will never change or bring back anything one has lost. It is simply stated by Fitzgerald, but beautiful as Glass decides in that moment to let go of his revenge, to drop it into fate's hands as he lets go of Fitzgerald. Not only does he become free of his revenge, but lives with the fact of his failure. Failure to protect his son from murder. That only he has to forgive himself, not Fitzgerald, but look within, as we see in spiritual sequences as he goes through in this journey to the end, where we see him come face to face with his dead wife, who looks at him not with peace but almost contempt. But that he can move on from that failure as she walks away, that he can let go of that pain through the rest of whatever life he has left to live. It's beautifully bittersweet, and that's just how I took the ending and the film as a whole. Not a story about revenge, but of self-forgiveness. All in all, as simple as it is, The Revenant feels like a triumph of cinema. It is truly an experience all on its own, one that I like to return to every so often. With returning to cinemas and IMAX, I feel it's a great time to discuss and re-experience this film. It was my top film of 2015 and is still one that I reflect on with very high regard. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you'd be so kind. My name is George Ray. Thank you so much again. Please remember to keep calm, keep cool, keep chill, embrace great cinema, embrace The Revenant. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace out.